Hello, and welcome to Inventors Helping Inventors. I'm your host, Alan Beckley, inventor of the Wonder Wallet. If you're an inventor searching for proven ways to make money with your invention, if you dream to see your product selling in stores everywhere, you've come to the right place. There's no better place to get help than from experts, inventors who've already achieved success. Every week, I interview successful inventors, asking them the questions you want to know. Tune in to learn from the experts so you can get your invention out of the tank and into the bank. Welcome to episode number 415. Today, it's Thursday, and that means it's time for another Thursday Thought. So what is your Thursday thought for today? It's this: from disappointment to decision. Now, as usual, stick with me and I'll explain what I mean about that. But let's start with disappointment. Look, I've said it many times, inventing is not a straight line from A to Z. It's a zigzag. And I've referred to it many times, and maybe you have as well, as a roller coaster. You have your highs when you have a really good day and some excitement, and then you got your lows, and then back again. So, to sum it up, we have successes and excitements, but the road of invention, the journey of invention, has a lot of disappointments. Have you experienced that? So disappointments can include doing your best to pitch your product to a potential company to license it. They seem somewhat interested, and at the very end, they say, this is interesting, but it's not really for us. Don't you hate that phrase? Not really for us. How about this one? You've hired a prototyper, you've paid him or her quite a bit of money, but at the end of the day, at the end of the project, they just didn't come through for you. Or your patent attorney surprised you, but not in a good way. Or your favorite product idea is already out there. And there are many others. And I've experienced just about every one of the ones I just described to you. So here's my point. I gave you some examples of disappointments and shared with you that the journey of invention is full of disappointments that can lead to ultimate success. So what's important when you encounter a disappointment is how you choose to respond, the decision that you make as a result of experiencing that disappointment. So I'm going to tell you a quick story that happened to me, and I've shared this on the podcast before, so you may have heard it before. But it was the biggest disappointment I think I ever had, and it turned out to be the biggest victory ultimately as a result. So I had spent about 3 years with my slim wallet design that at that time I called Savvy Caddy, presenting and pitching it for licensing to major wallet manufacturers. And I got the usual interesting, but not really for us. Well, one of the companies that used to be the largest wallet manufacturer in the United States, they're not in business anymore, but used to be the largest, was Tandy Brands Accessories. And I got a very favorable interest indication from them when I pitched my product to them. And they said, let us take a look at it and see if we can take it to our design group, and then we'll get back with you. And I said, okay. So 2 weeks later, we were to get back together. And when we got back together, I was anticipating I'd be hearing the next steps in the process to license with me. Instead, they said, Alan, what we have to share with you is we've taken a look at this. We love your product. We get it. But this wallet will never sell in retail stores like this. Now, I've spent 3 years on my licensing tour and more years before that. You can imagine that was, shall we say, a little disappointment. And I felt anger bubbling up inside of me because I thought we were moving in the opposite direction. But I asked the question, Why do you say that? Why do you say it will never sell in retail stores?" And Britt Jenkins, who at that time was the CEO of Candy Brands Accessories, he said to me, "Alan, when you first showed it to us, it looked like a large wallet, and we couldn't see what the value was in it, and we thought it wouldn't fit in our back pockets. But when you demoed it to us, when you showed it to us, then we got it. Then we understood it's flexible, it's thin, etc. But if it's just sitting in a box in a retail store, they're just going to think it's a large wallet and nobody will buy it." And then he paused and he said, "But Alan, this is a sell on TV product, and you should take it to QVC." Well, that was the end of that meeting, but I went home and I was processing my emotions, and they weren't good ones. I was really frustrated. I got home and I took a while to process through it. And it wasn't till maybe 2 days later that I actually realized the last thing he said. "This is a sell on TV product, and you should take it to QVC." Ultimately, that is what I did. That was the decision that I made based on the disappointment. And it led to my biggest victory because I did well on QVC for 2 years. Then ultimately, after quite a few years of effort, got it into direct response TV, where it's sold in over 10,000 retail stores. But here's the 4-step process that I went through that I would recommend to you every time you encounter a disappointment. How to respond. The first one is go home and give it a couple of days to settle. Don't try to wrestle with it right away because you're in the midst of the emotion. So give it a couple of days to settle. Then calmly evaluate what happened. Now you can look at it more objectively. What happened? What could you have done better? Then step 3, what did you learn from it? And then step 4 is decision. Given all of that, how can you get a better result next time? And then take action moving forward. I want to stress what's most important for every disappointment you encounter. What's most important is not the disappointment, but what you decide to do about it. Thanks as always for listening, and we'll be talking to you again soon. Thanks so much for tuning in to Inventors Helping Inventors. If you like the show, please tell your friends about it. Make sure to subscribe in iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts so you won't miss a single episode. Talk to you soon.